Hi, I'm Chuck Gallagher, and I want to welcome you to my 2010 video blog. As a business ethics speaker, I decided this year that in addition to the written blog, I would begin a series of perhaps news-type articles that would be part of a video blog in this technological age that we live in. And I wanted to start 2010 with something that was exciting, perhaps extraordinary, something that would be uplifting. I did find something to start with, but I'm afraid it might not begin the year uplifting. I've entitled this The Great American Ponzi Scheme. Now, most of the people who have read my blog are aware of my past, and that is not something that I'm proud of, but I certainly am familiar with the creation of a Ponzi scheme and what takes place with that and the consequences that follow. Most of you remember in, 2008 and then ultimately in 2009, that's exactly what Bernie Madoff was convicted of, a Ponzi scheme. And that's a scheme where you take money from one person or one party and promise some sort of result. In Bernie Madoff's case, he promised an outcome, a return on the investment, so to speak. But instead of being able to truly deliver that, you take money from another source and use this money to pay that commitment. So the Ponzi scheme layers upon layers. Money from here goes to pay this money is gone to pay that, and you continue the process. And I suppose I have to ask, isn't it possible that that is just what we're doing here in America? Let's look at the past decade. This past decade, in 2000, we had somewhere around $5.6 trillion, that's a T, trillion dollars in debt. By the time we got to 2005, that was 7.6, 7.8. Now, as we begin a new decade, 2010, our debt is over $12 trillion. In 10 years, our debt in this country has more than doubled. And in effect, what that means is we are borrowing money here to pay for needs today, to pay for the promises that have been made in the past. And the only difference between a Ponzi scheme and what we're doing, the only thing, is we know about it, whereas the victims in a Ponzi scheme don't. And as you can tell by the gray in my hair, I am a baby boomer. And as we, as a group, age into promises such as Medicare or Social Security or our new government health care, whatever those promises may be, we are a large group of people. And so to fulfill those promises, it is not unreasonable to assume that within this next decade, we might, if we continue on the road we're continuing on, see debt that approaches $40 to $60 trillion. Now, if there's one thing that I know, it's every choice has a consequence. As I speak across the nation, doing business ethics presentations for associations, corporations, whomever it may be, I always say every choice has a consequence. And the reality to that is it's true. That anytime there is a dramatic run-up, whether it's a run-up in the stock market, a run-up in real estate, or a run-up in our national debt, whenever there is an artificial creation that takes place, there generally is, something that bursts the bubble. And in the case of our country, we have to begin to ask the question as citizens, are we willing to sit here and allow this to take place? Are we willing to accept today what has been promised and put that on the backs of our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren? And isn't it likely that there will become or will come a day of reckoning? I would love to, as I said at the beginning, speak in 2010 about something that is extraordinary and wonderful. And you know, we have a lot of things to be very thankful for, but we also have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to live within our means. And as long as we choose not to do that, the only thing we're doing is increasing the likelihood that the consequence could be disastrous. I welcome your comments. Visit my blog on WordPress, chuckgallagher.wordpress.com, or send me an email at chuck@chuckgallagher.com, or visit my website. I'd welcome the opportunity to talk with you. Until we talk again, I am Chuck Gallagher at chuckgallagher.com.